Hi, today I'm here to review one of my favorite historical fictions, Dust Child by Mai. The cover that you're seeing here is the US hardcover edition, and it might change depending on the region or the country you are from. I was totally stunned reading this book because it is one of the few historical fictions that I have read in my life, and it's not a genre that I usually pick or I usually prefer. This book not only taught me a lot about how many families have suffered during the American-Vietnam War, but it also made me count on my own blessings in my life. And that is the reason why I urge each one of you who are looking at this video to read this book. You will feel so good about your life and you will feel how blessed you are. You will thank God for everything that you have today. So, before starting the review, I would like to apologize for any errors in the names which I might mispronounce during the review. So I will put the names on the screen for better understanding. The background of the story is the Vietnamese War, which took place in the late 1960s. Only the families who have suffered a lot, which have been devastated, will know the impact of it. Before reading this book, I did not know who an American was, to be very honest. I had no clue. Maybe it is something which everybody will know and most of them might know, but I did not know. So an American is somebody who is born out of the union between an American and a Vietnamese woman. So it so happened that during the war, many American soldiers impregnated Vietnamese women and they just abandoned them. So the women and the kids were left all alone. The soldiers left after the war. They did not have the money or the strength to feed the kid. Due to this, many kids were raised in orphanages and they did not even know who their biological parents were. And they had a tough childhood. This book tells us three stories. The first story is about an American. His name is Fong. At present, he is married. So he had a rough childhood because he was raised in an orphanage. He did not want the same for his kids. So now he knows the fact that he is born to an American soldier. And if you are the kid of an American, you can legally enter into the United States. So he wanted to come into the US in order to get a better life for his family. So he was trying to convince the consulate people to gain entry into the US, but they did not agree because obviously, right, Fong did not have the necessary legal documents to get into the US because he did not even know who his father was, though he was sure that he is born to an American. The second story in the book is about an American veteran named Dan. At present, he was settled in Seattle with his wife Linda. During his time in Vietnam, he was a pilot during the wartime. And it so happened that when he was in Vietnam, he had impregnated a woman named Kim. And they had a kid together. But after the war, Dan left the country and he did not know the whereabouts of Kim and he did not know what happened to his kid later on. So his heart started aching and he wanted to go back, hoping to meet Kim, and he wanted to know what happened to his own kid. But Linda did not know any of this. So they make their way from Seattle to Ho Chi Minh City, which was earlier Saigon. The third story is about two sisters, Trang and Quinn. They were from a poor financial background and it was difficult to make ends meet. So they decided to help their parents because the war was making it really difficult to study and they had to leave their studies. They joined a bar and they hoped that after working for 2 to 3 years in a bar, they could continue their studies. But it so happened that their lives took such a devastating turn, which neither they nor anybody could foresee. These are the 3 stories in the book, and the author has alternated between all 3 of them. Initially, I found it difficult to understand the names, so what I did was I took a sheet of paper and I just wrote the main characters' names, because it's not just these 4 characters which I have told you. There are many people who come. I was just thinking as to how many families have actually been shattered through the war, and I was thinking about the people who do not even today know who their parents are, or if their kids have grown, maybe who their grandparents are. That is the reason I was telling in the beginning of the video that you will actually count on your blessings once you read the story. I would not recommend this to beginners, even though there are no jargon words in this, because of the story and the complexity in the story. However, you will learn a lot, and it actually made me feel like I was in Vietnam, in Saigon, in a bar in 1960s, back when the war used to happen and the soldiers used to come to these bars at night. They used to drink. I was literally in Saigon when I was reading it. I was picturizing myself in Saigon. Quinn Mai has an amazing style of writing. I've always wondered her writing, and I've also read her other book, The Mountains Sing. However, this is my favorite when compared to the 2. I would also like to review that book too sometime in the future on my channel. But for now, if you're looking for a historical fiction, and if you're not a beginner, I urge you to read this book. Even though I am not a fan of historical fiction, I love this book. If you're a fan of this genre, you'll just thank me for this. I would not rate this 5 on 5, but more than that, maybe 10 on 5 or 15 on 5. So I would definitely like to commend the author for giving us such a wonderful book, and more than that, I would appreciate her for sharing the story of her country, for making the world realize how difficult it was for many families to cope up after the war. Aftermath is something that is very crucial. If you've liked this video, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel, Archana Book Vlogs. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is The Magic of Bibliosmia. Thank you so much.